Hey, guys and girls, football is back. Well, only for this week. That's right. The draft picks are here, and we're going to be with you all week long right here on the Cameron Spa Show.
With the 24th pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Dez Bryant.
With Roy Williams, with Jason Witten, right down the street from Prosper, Texas, and Dion's house. I talked about this. We talked about this in the pregame. Jerry, I don't think he's ever got known for some of the things that Randy Moss did to the Dallas Cowboys when he came in that stadium. What are your thoughts as he drops to his knees in his home, emotional beyond belief that he's a Dallas Cowboy?
The New England Patriots select Rob Gronkowski.
It seems that the Patriots chose him 42nd overall.
Watch that back, though. That's a football playing family right there, folks.
With the 249th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams select Michael Sam, defensive end, Missouri.
There it is. So the St. Louis Rams go ahead and choose Michael Sam.
The Cleveland Browns select Danny Shelton. Yeah, baby. Defensive tackle,
That was the first ever professional list, I believe. The Dallas Cowboys select Jalen Smith, linebacker, Notre Dame.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you, sir. All right now.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Gerald McCoy.
Such a neat moment to see people driven to tears by the selection of a dream come true, as this is for Gerald McCoy.
The New York Giants select Jason Pierre-Paul.
Jason Pierre-Paul is going to be a New York Giant, and he has got some giant physical skills. The backflips that he's going to be, the YouTube video that folks in New York are going to be downloading left and right.
Yeah, I followed the Vikings.
Because of Adrian?
Yeah, just because he brought me to football.
Is there one particular team that's paid more attention to you than anybody else?
The Vikings did.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty good friends with their head coach and their GM, so
Send him a text. Send a text. So you then addressed the camera and said, Zim, call me.
The Minnesota Vikings select Moritz Oranger, wide receiver from Germany. Skol Viking.
Spielman!
Yeah!
Got his Viking hat on. He's a Viking.
Yeah, way to go! Way to go, Zim!
San Francisco 49ers select Vernon Davis, tight end, University of Maryland. Back in New York, and you don't think this is football's not an emotional game. And these, remember, they're young men. They're thrown into this limelight, which I don't care how big a stage you play in college. And that is Vernon Davis, who we would imagine is the next pick. He may have just heard from the San Francisco 49ers because, look.
The Kansas City Chiefs select Chris Jones.
The Arizona Cardinals select Tyrann Mathieu, defensive back, LSU.
And there's Tyrann Mathieu celebrating the moment, and we all know that
with Cameron being out the next couple of days, but I got the man right now who's going to be with us for the next couple of days. The one and only, the guy that Adam Scheffner always looked for. It's the man, Polk. Sure. What's up, Polk?
Hey, what's going on, Scott?
Oh, man, just ready. I'm excited, man. It's football for a week, man. I mean, shoot, we got, a lot to talk about this week with draft picks coming up, and we're going to discuss about that, and we're going to discuss to help you out with your fantasy football league and your dynasty leagues, coming up this week as well. But we're really going to go into talk about, today with the NFC East, North, and South. Discuss about, what the teams need drastically on their team to improve themselves, to get themselves to the Super Bowl, and also to look out for your fantasy, who you might want to pick up in your draft this summer. So, Polk, you have anything to start off with, or we just want to just jump right into it, bud?
Oh, man, I just want to say I'm super excited. It's one step closer for the NFL season coming back. You're going to get to see all this stuff come together, all these teams get these pieces in the draft that they need, and it's really exciting to just move forward into that new year of football and new year of talent coming into the NFL.
Heck yeah, man! I'm excited for it as well. I want to see what these young rookies are going to be doing. They talk the talk, but can they walk the walk over there in the NFL? We're going to find out this season, and also with great news, and we have an extra game of football this year, so that's going to be exciting as well. So let's just jump right into it and go on to the NFC East, North, and let's start talking with the Dallas Cowboys. Polk, what do you think they're going to do with this number 10 pick, or do you think they're going to get a corner that they're really needing, or are they going to, give up their pick and move back, or what's your opinion on that? And let's address on the Cowboys real quick.
All right. Really, there's only one thing that I think the Cowboys should do, and that's defense. At number 10, I think Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn is exactly what we need to get that defense rolling in the right direction. They're saying that they could possibly get an offensive lineman. No.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Polk. I think we need to go and just address defense this year with the Cowboys.
I'm sorry, Scott.
No problem.
The kids came in to tell me something.
No problem.
But yeah, again, I'd really love like Patrick Surtain. I think he's going to be phenomenal coming from Alabama. I'd love to see him go become a Dallas Cowboy. So.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain, honestly, his dad has tweeted out several times that, he's going to be a Cowboy. But, I agree, man, that guy is he's lethal. He played for Bama really well. So we'll see how that goes. But, Horn, I think he would be a good pickup as well. Either way, you're going. Dallas is going to do good if they get this corner over here. Horn's 6'1", 205, got some lightning speed, but Surtain, he's also 6'2" and 202, and he showed up on that championship game as well. So either way, Dallas will be looking good as well. What else do you think Dallas needs to address on this draft there, Polk? So basically, I guess I lost Polk there for just a second. I think what they're needing right now is I think they need to also address on some safeties on both ends there. So Polk, you think safety help is needed over there at Dallas right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we need to address a lot of things on that defense. I, and safety is definitely one of them. I was hoping they was going to be able to go out and find somebody in the free agency. But they spent a little money, and so I guess we could find somebody later in the draft for sure. There's a few guys that kind of fell because of the whole COVID thing, and so I think really, we're gonna have to spend this draft focusing on defense, and hopefully we can get them up to par. So,
Okay, absolutely. Trevor Mooring from TCU had a phenomenal year. He's ranked in a top 17 to be picked this year. I don't think he's going to be there actually when Dallas goes around on the second round. So to look, I would definitely go like UOC's senior Rishi Grant, 6'4", hitting 199. Strong safety. I mean, he's just powerful. I like this guy. I think I think he'd be a great fit for Dallas there. You addressed a little bit about the offensive line. We are going to be getting back Lyle Collins, Zach Martin, and Mr. Smith there. You think Dallas should go maybe in they do have a third pick and 2 fourth-round picks. Maybe around the fourth pick, look around and get maybe another offensive guard.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad spot to look for some. They had a little success in the past. And, Connor from Texas, he's been okay filling in roles, and that's really what we need, guys. With injuries, it really hurt us this year offensively. We definitely had all the pieces, but Tyrone Smith and Dak going down set us back. But I think we just need to add a couple role player guys for that O-line that we could definitely address later in this draft. We also we've got a few guys that really stepped up last year. So as long as I can take that other leap, then we can continue to move forward as an offensive powerhouse.
Absolutely. I mean, we got, Dallas has all, the weapons they need right now. We discussed this a little bit yesterday, Polk, about, how they need to utilize their offense a little bit more. We definitely need to see Zeke come out and play again. They are going to be getting back their tight end. Schultz, I'd like to see a double tight end set, using both of the tight ends there. That'd be great to have. Their running backs, use
Pollard.
Yes, Pollard. Thank you. Pollard, on the screen more. Just do a little bit more exciting plays. Keep the defense guessing. If they're going to go out and get, another wide receiver in a draft, which I don't, they think they should, but let's get these guys involved. Definitely Dak is going to come out and play hard. Dallas has decided to go do voluntary camps, regardless what was told not to. So I think Dallas is ready. I think Dak is ready. We're going to see Dak come out and play this year, so it should be great. Also, last thing I want to touch about with Dallas, defensive line. Polk, in your opinion, even though they got re-signed Anton Woods back to the squad, do you think they need to get a defensive line, or we just need to worry about the secondary right now?
Right now, I really think that we need to worry about the secondary. We brought some guys in, and even then, if we have the players that we have, if D-Law can step up, we have some skilled players on that D line, and we've drafted that D line, and unfortunately, those players play for other teams. So Taco Charlton was one that came to mind that I think we let him go a little too soon, and he actually showed up for Kansas City last year and made sure he's at the position. So I think it's when we just kind of step back from. We need to limit the chunk yardage, and that's what killed us last year. Teams were able to move the ball, and so were we at the beginning of the year. But we've got to guys. I want fear. Like we talked about yesterday. I want them to come out and have to scheme against. Create a whole new scheme to avoid a certain corner, to avoid a certain side of the field. Not to be able to come out and I get pressure forces quarterbacks into bad throws, but if they're wide open in the middle of the field, it's not going to make a difference. So
yeah, absolutely, and it's 100% right. I mean, Dallas's defense was ranked number 31 out of 32 last year, and it showed. It showed really, how they played last year. I still don't understand why they want to play back 7-8 yards against a receiver. I mean, it's easy for them to get that extra 5 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards. With the catch, it just blows my mind when somebody wants to play that far back against a good wide receiver or a good tight end. It just blows my mind every time when Dallas does that. I think we just need to play man on man tight and put and just make it where the quarterback just can't throw the ball and he has to scramble to make a play. So that's a great point there, Polk. Let's go ahead and move on to the New York Giants. They're looking at number 11 right behind us. In my opinion, I think they need to get a lot of help over there if they're going to give their quarterback a chance this year. So I think they're looking at probably going to get an offensive guard and tackle to help them out because they don't have much help over there on that offensive line, and they don't have really much weapons to throw other than they got Kenny Galladay over and this past off season. Polk, what's your opinion on that? And what do you think they're gonna look for?
Well, so the past couple of years, New York Giants, they're a whole new team, but they definitely, like you said, with the addition of Kenny Galladay, excuse me, and then they got a few other players in the offense the past couple of years in the draft. They still believe in Daniel Jones, so right now they're projected to pick J.C. Horn, which is essentially the other corner that I like Dallas to be able to get. Mm-hmm. So they definitely need help on defense too. But I think they're okay on offense in the first round. So
I agree. My opinion, I would love to get J.C. Horn too, as a Dallas Cowboy fan. But yeah, you're right. They're going to address their defense first before they address their offense. And that's, to me, I don't understand that. Saquon Barkley is supposed to be back. Hopefully, with the past 2 years with him with injuries, hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to play. It would help, fantasy leagues out, especially the dynasty leagues. In my opinion, you need to get that offensive line so he can have a hole to run on, because when he gets at least 5+ yards, you're not going to catch this guy. I don't know why they want to address their defense first, but to me, offensive line, especially helping out Daniel Jones when he's trying to throw, he's only got 1 second to throw because his offensive line is breaking up. It's time to go. It's time to rebuild and get your offensive line going.
I agree completely, Scott. Just like I was saying, they've had a few misses, and they've been drafting offense the past few years. You got Ingram, you've got Barkley. Now you got Galladay. You drafted Daniel Jones. Eric Flowers, who plays for another team, who couldn't quite figure out how to play tackle. I think he's figured it out on another team on the inside, but he was a first-round pick. I think they're tired of, taking these swings and misses for the offense. The old saying is defense wins championships, and the NFC East definitely didn't play defense last year, and I think that's going to change this year, hopefully, in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll see what the Giants do. I mean, we'll see if they address the defense first or the offensive line first on this draft here. And they're also talking about looking at an edge rusher. Carl Flackler, he had 19 pressures again, on that. So, do you think? I mean, honestly, do you think the edge rusher? I mean, did they need to address that right now, or do you think they need to get that on the later rounds?
I think they need an edge rusher. I think they need something. They have a little bit more. I guess they addressed a little bit more in trades and stuff for defense a couple years ago. Now some of those players are gone, but they were I think one of the last teams in the league in QB pressure. So I think that would help them. Yeah, an edge rusher would be nice. I don't see anybody that really stands out at that 11 pick as an edge rusher. So it would be surprising to me. Like I said, there's a few other top players on the board. If they didn't go cornerback, I honestly would like to see them possibly go receiver because some of those top touted names are going to be on that board right there, especially with the QB run in the first few picks that's going to happen, first 4 or 5. So
I agree with you definitely. I mean, right now that this draft for receivers and Giants needs a good slot receiver. So they got a good potential to get one as well. So
because Golden Tate moved on, didn't he?
Yes, Golden Tate is out. They let him go. I'm sorry.
And then they have Slayton.
They have Slayton and Galladay. So, I mean, they have a lot to address in this draft, and I mean, they didn't do much off season, other than getting Galladay on there. But can you trust Galladay with his injuries like he was last year? That's the main point. So we'll see what they do.
I think the big thing is going to be that Daniel Jones-Galladay connection. Can they hit that deep ball like Stafford was able to do with so many receivers and Galladay being one of them. So,
yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go on address on with the Eagles. The Eagles has not announced yet if Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback, which is interesting to me. So, and also they traded back to go behind the Giants on the number 12 pick, and now they're looking to move up forward, which it may happen the next couple of days if they can talk to somebody. But I'm sorry, did I say Jalen? Yeah, Jalen Hurts, which has surprised me. I mean, he was your guy last year over Carson Wentz. So are they going to, the rumors have been, are they going to go up and try to get a quarterback, or, are they just, kind of just, what, we were just kidding. We're going to go and dress and try to get some help in offense, or possibly going with their defense. What do you think, Polk?
That's a team. That's another team that needs a lot of help in a lot of areas. They definitely need O-line. With them trading back, it kind of surprised me because I thought maybe they were going to reach for some of those receivers. They kind of lost Alshon Jeffrey and Djax, but they were aged anyway. So you got Jalen Reagor, and that about covers it. You really need a lot of help on that O-line. And they've named a quarterback without naming a quarterback. It's going to be Jalen Hurts. There's no way that Philadelphia is going to be able to trade up that high, because they're going to lose a lot. They already traded back up that high to be able to get one of those top touted names. And really, to me, there's only 2 QBs in this draft that's going to be worth everything, and they're going to go 1 and 2. So it would be weird to see them trade up, and I don't see, if they could, they would be able to maybe get in the realm of Mac Jones, but I really don't think he's the quarterback that everybody thinks he is. He had too many weapons in Alabama. You had the top O-line, you had two of the top receivers going into this draft, and he came out on his pro day and did not look very well. A lot of coaches showed up, and a lot of them had that face, that face that you can tell that they questioned why they showed up themselves instead of sending, to watch that, where they could have been anywhere else at that time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I really see them going for the O-line pick.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you. They do need they do need to go out and try to get them a receiver. If you're going to get the Heisman winner, Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle, that's what you want to address and get one. You got to get these guys because they missed out on CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys picked him because that's what they were going for. They were going to go for CeeDee Lamb last year, and Dallas got him. So I definitely they need to address that and go get them. Get these guys over there. Also Polk, the rumors are also the reason why they also want to be traded up is they want to try to get Kyle Pitts from from Florida. What do you think about that? You think is Kyle Pitts going to be there at number 12 for them, or is he going to be gone before that?
Kyle Pitts is going to be gone way before that. This is one of the top touted players in this draft, right behind the quarterbacks, right along with Devontae Smith. The guy ran a blazing 4.40 as a tight end. He can block. He's got hands. They're saying he's the best tight end that is coming out of Florida, and we've seen some great ones come out of Florida. Some real killers. Aaron Hernandez comes to mind. So,
all right, that sounds good. Looks like we're gonna take a break real quick, and we'll get back to you right here in a minute.
This is the Cameron Summer Show by Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, iTunes. Also, if you like the show, go to Apple Podcasts and put down your comments and rate the show. Right now, you're going back to the show now on the Cameron Summer Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Cameron Savage Show. Our host Cameron is out for the next few days. I got my esteemed colleague with me, the Polkster. What's up, Polk?
Hey, Scott.
Hey. So let's get back into the NFC East real quick. So Washington, which we talked about yesterday, and how scary this team is going to be for the NFC East here with the next year or two. They signed Ryan Fitzpatrick, but we know it's going to be a one-year deal. You think Washington needs to address and look for a quarterback? I know they're not going to get anything probably in the first round, but I mean they do have two number 3 picks for coming up on this draft. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, I agree. I think this team is a few years and they're going to be scary. They made some great draft picks and some guys that really showed up for that team. I think they're a quarterback and a receiver away. I think Antonio Gibson is going to be great this year. They've got a great defense. They were definitely really high up there in takeaways last year. So, I don't think they're going to be able to get a quarterback this year. They just maybe roll with Ryan Fitzpatrick and see what's in the free agency or where they land in the draft next year.
Well, I'll tell you what, Polk. I mean, why don't these teams not give Brian Fitzpatrick a chance? Give him a couple years. I mean, this guy, man, he wants to play football. He loves football. No matter, I mean, his age, I get it. People are concerned about that. But this guy, man, he goes out there and he runs and he knocks over people to get into the end zone. Why would you not take a risk and, give him a couple years, build your franchise up, maybe mold a young quarterback. This guy is super talented. I just don't understand why he jumps from team to team. What do you think about that real quick before we go on?
Ryan Fitzpatrick, is that?
Yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, for one, Fitzpatrick's just up there in age. You can't build a franchise on a 36-year-old quarterback. He's definitely good, but he does take a lot of risks. He's never been one to shy away from trying to fit that ball in somewhere. I think Gunslinger comes to mind when I bring up his name.
Exactly.
But, it's the same. It's just like with Miami last year. They drafted Tua, who they thought was the answer, and they just needed that transition year. So I think they thought that they could move on now, and Tua could be their guy. They're wrong, but Fitzpatrick's going to go over there to Washington, and he's kind of going to play that Alex Smith role that he did the past few seasons. He's going to bounce around and start until someone steps up. So they need to draft a quarterback, unless Heineke, is the answer. But we'll see. They definitely need some receivers.
Agreed.
Can do it all alone.
Well, yeah, and they with McLaurin and Logan Thomas stepping up last year, which he's really impressed me last year. With number 19, being on their pick, they should go out and get them something in this draft, and they have an option to get an outside wide receiver, Rashad Bateman, which was phenomenal last year. He got speed, and he can catch the ball. He's got CD Lamb hands. I like this guy. Not for a Dallas Cowboys fan, but for a Washington fan, definitely. It's going to help out. And then with them getting Curtis Samuel, you're right. I mean, they're key players away. Picking, going somewhere, taking over the East. These guys I saw something last year towards the end of the season, and they got something going on over there. It's going to be scary. But they do need to address and get in the left tackle. I mean, let's face it, last year with Hackins and, the multiple quarterbacks that was going on in Washington over there, they definitely need to get a left tackle out there, and possible getting them at number 19. I mean, honestly, I think they could wait and go in the second and third round to go get them a great tackle as well. But I mean, their main focus is that they do need to get a wide receiver out there, in the first round, and that's my opinion. So,
yeah, I agree. You mentioned Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel's a great what is that? A Swiss Army knife is what I'd like to call him.
Right, exactly.
He could do a little bit of it all, but he doesn't excel at one thing. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see him. We'll see coverages pulled and him be able to get open. In Carolina, he was kind of the weapon to key for, especially with CMC being out. So maybe when the spotlight's not on him as much, he'll be able to get open and they consider him just one of those great deep threats. He's got the speed, so maybe we see a little bit more out of that this year, out of him. But I still think that that they need a quarterback and they're one good wide receiver away. And definitely, like you said, some tackles would be nice, but you can always kind of find them somewhere.
Absolutely. And then also, they do need to address on their linebacker issue. Reuben Foster hasn't played in 2 years. I think they went ahead and cut him. You think Michael Parsons is going to be a good fit for them if they get him in the late rounds or in the first round or possibly second round?
Michael Parsons, that's the guy that set up, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to be a great fit for anybody.
Yeah.
The kid was phenomenal. Man, as a Cowboys fan, I'd hate to see the Washington team continue to get these great players
like Chase Young. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. They know how to bring out talent, guys. They've always have for being a rival and a middle of the pack team. They always have outstanding players that tend to show up out of nowhere. So
yeah, last year they got out in their 7th round pick. Carmen Curl played safety for him. It's amazing what these guys can. Washington, it's kind of like Bill Parcells over there in New England. He always finds that guy that it's in the later rounds, and Washington has been finding these guys in the late rounds as well on their defense, and it's just it just amazes me what they can what they find over there, and it's scary. Like you said, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I would not want to see Michael Parsons go to Washington, or I'd like to see him as a Cowboy, but he more likely will probably wind up over there in Washington. We'll see. We'll go from there. What do you think? I did touch a little bit about the safety over there. That's their number 5 concern right now. Who do they could go get at number 19 over there, Polk?
Washington. There's a few of those linemen, like you said, that I'd like to see. Also, they're saying that Devontae Smith may fall because of his size. I know that he excelled last year, but some think he's too small. I don't know if he'd fall to 19. Maybe they can move up. But how scary would that be? McLaurin and Samuel and Smith. I don't know if you need a quarterback.
Exactly. If they can get a backup quarterback and throw just throw, and their offense line holds it, why would they need to go in the draft to go get him? Why they can go get somebody
right.
That's sitting in somebody's bench right now.
At this point, they could call Eli Manning. He could go out there, close his eyes, and chunk it up, and it don't matter.
Absolutely, man. You're right about that. So let's switch over to the AFC East, and talk about let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. What a great season this team has. Came alive. Josh Allen made a believer out of me. Stephon Diggs, which I know that you were in our draft, was kind of iffy about him going over there, making a connection. I went ahead and picked him up. Had a great season with him. Do you think these guys need an offense help? Honestly, I think they need running back. That's my opinion. I know everybody talks highly about Singletary and Moss. I just didn't see anything from those two guys. Again, like I told you, I think they're the two same people. And don't get me wrong, I think they're great young men, but they just wasn't explosive. There was nothing out there that. They had one good game each that had a decent game, and that was it. It was all Josh Allen scrambling or try to get the first down, or throwing to Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley. What do you think?
Yeah. So I knew you were going to bring up Diggs. Let's adjust real quick. Okay. I won last year.
Okay.
Agreed. I did not think Diggs was going to be all that. I watched him over there in Minnesota make a few great catches. He ran routes, but I guess Thielen's shadow is a little bigger than I thought it was. Thielen, I guess, was able to find his perfect match going over there to Buffalo. Or Diggs was able to find his perfect match going to Buffalo. He was phenomenal. I know that mid-year you offered me a trade for Diggs for one of my players, and I turned it down because I didn't believe in Diggs. And you hit that nail on the head, Scott. You were right. Diggs is good. I'd like to say I learned from my mistakes. I'm still not a big believer, but we talked about it yesterday. I mean, at this point, I have to put him in my top 5. I don't want to. I'm reluctant, but I have to, because he went out there and proved it last year. Like you said, the running back room, yes, I really think they need to address that. I'm just worried because, they took Singletary, in the first round 2 years ago. And then Zach Moss was, late first round, early second.
Right.
And neither one of these guys have really panned out, really helped that offense at all. They lost a few key pieces. I thought John Brown, we've always agreed that John Brown was a decent receiver. He was great in Arizona until he came down with sickle cell. I guess the altitude over there really affected him. So he went on to find, a little resurgence in Buffalo. But he's always had health issues. But he's fast. He was great. And then they got Beasley, who, as a Cowboy fan, I always had respect for Beasley for what he does. I think the Buffalo paid him a little too much. Sure, he's a great slot guy. He's going to catch those 1-2 yards, but he's not going to beat anybody down the field. He's not going to make a lot of people miss in the open field. So I think you need to pair Diggs up with someone else. That way, you'd have 2 great options to be able to throw to instead of 1.5. Because to me, John Brown and Beasley were that, half of a whole player. So if they want to take it to the next level, I would be okay with them keeping those running backs because they have 2 of them that they wasted high draft picks on, but I think they need a receiver. The defense played really well last year. They didn't lose too many players this off season. So I'd love to see them be able to go pick somebody up. They're going to get a later pick, so I'd have to look to see who would be available. But I think they really need to address that wide receiver room.
Yeah, man, Polk, I agree. I mean, if Buffalo wants to get back into that playoffs scheme, which congratulations again to Buffalo. It hasn't been in the playoffs since 1995 when I was a freaking junior in high school. They have to address that. They have to go in there. Would they want to trade up? It's a possibility. They might want to trade up to try to get a decent wide receiver. But, as running backs, I mean, the running backs this year are weak. I don't think there's anybody that's ranked this year as a running back being in first round. I think it's all, second round picks. So maybe what they can do is stick with Moss and Singletary and see what happens this year and maybe address it next year. Or maybe go, when trade deadlines are happening or something, maybe try to get a running back. We just don't know. Hey guys, if you want to kind of take a risk on Le'Veon Bell, I mean, you might get him super cheap. I mean, I just don't know if you want to get him. I think he's done. I mean, in my opinion. But the old man Frank Gore, I mean, give him another shot. But I mean, it's just as of right now. I mean, it's just those guys need to address and get a wide receiver over there, and also, they also need to address in getting a tight end. I mean, I thought Dawson Knox was going to be a decent tight end. I was actually kind of thinking about picking him in the late rounds as maybe an option 3 as a tight end or something. Because I figured Josh Allen was going to use him a little bit more, but the guy just can't get open. He had one game that was decent. I don't know. I think they're not going to go get Kyle Pitts for sure, but definitely need to get a tight end. Look at your third or fourth round, getting a tight end over there, because as of right now, I mean, they do. I think they're one piece away in their offense, whether it's a running back, wide receiver, tight end spot, something that helps out Stephon Diggs over there. Again, you address with Cole Beasley. Yeah, he's going to get you that 5 yard, that first down. It's third down. Hey, throw it to Cole Beasley. He's going to get open somehow over there. But yeah, you need somebody to complement Diggs over there. And if you can get a good threat wide receiver or a good threat tight end, that team's going to be stupid scary. And I think they can hang with Kansas City over there in the AOC. What do you think, Polk?
I agree. I agree completely with what you said. Their tight end has been suspect. Knox came on about 2 years ago and had some decent games. And, I thought he would possibly be an option too this year. And he hasn't. He's not a terrible blocker, but you can definitely do better in that area. So looking at these mock drafts, it looks like they got the Bills going defensive end and corner. Which is a little surprising. But
I agree. I mean, Polk, that's what I was looking at too. And I was like, I don't see that. But this is why we're different. This is why we're a different podcast, because we look a little bit further than these other guys do. So this is why we're a little bit better than they are.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely a lot of them, these projections look at the best available player. Which I agree with. You want to do that, but at the same time, look at the Bills, for instance. They are a piece away from, like you said, being able to be a contender in the Super Bowl. They challenged everybody last year with Diggs, who was a number 2 in Minnesota, and then 2 other guys that I wouldn't say got cut, but didn't quite make it. I really thought that receiving core was real weak going into last year, and with Josh Allen, they were able to play above expectations. So if they get a real piece, a real receiver, a real solid number 2 to complement Diggs, I think that they could go all the way. And they're a team that I really like, and I really like what Josh Allen has done. So
yeah, absolutely. And with their offensive line, I remember watching a game. Their offensive line gave 9 seconds. They counted it on there. They gave them 9 seconds to throw the ball. Josh Allen to throw the ball. 9 seconds. Oh my God! You can do anything with 9 seconds in the NFL if you had time to throw the ball. I mean, it was just they were like at least 2 to 3 yards away from Josh Allen. It was
right, 9
amazing.
seconds. I mean, and just like we talked about, with 9 seconds, you have these guys, John Brown, Beasley, that can get open. Now, imagine if you had someone like Devontae Smith,
right?
Diggs and Devontae, it's a touchdown. They're going to be able to get separation 10, 15 yards down the field and take it to the house with 9 seconds. I mean,
it's unreal, isn't it? It's just unreal. So let's go on to our next team there, the New England Patriots. They re-signed Cam Newton over there for another 1-year deal. Keep hearing that New England wants to trade up. I mean, which is really weird, to hear that, because how New England is with their first round picks. They like to trade it off. Do you think that New England can move up and go get them a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance or a Mac Jones?
Well, yeah, I mean they definitely can. It's well, it's crazy. Like you said, to talk about hearing about New England wanting to trade up. Normally they're a team that'll trade down. Normally they're a team that won't sit there and go sign all these players. And they actually made a big splash in the free agency this year by going out
by
there.
By getting Jonas Smith and who else? I forgot. I'm sorry.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Yep. Re-signed James White, Lawrence Guy. So they got Trent Brown. They addressed their offense. They did a lot of things. So I'm excited to see them this year. They realized that they had to get pieces. They didn't have Tom Brady anymore. They couldn't just make these things work. So I think their offense still needs a couple of again. I keep going to the same thing. I keep banging the same bell, but receiver help. Of course, New England needed receiver help for a long time. Edelman's done.
Yeah.
So with I don't know, with Cam Newton, I agree. I don't think he's the answer. I don't know if trading up, because Belichick's always had that he's never thrown these rookies into starting positions. The only reason Brady played when he did is because of the injury to Bledsoe. So I don't see them going and getting a guy because they're in that win now mentality. And if they sign a quarterback, I feel like that would be a next year thing or the year after. But you never know. You never know with the Patriots. You don't know how they're reading, if they really think Cam is the man, or if they're going to go and do something else. So I'm really intrigued by what they do.
Absolutely. And you never know you're right. You never know what they're going to do. They might go get him a corner because Stephon Gilmore's contract's up. This is last year, and it's been trade rumors. They've been trying to want to trade him. So I mean, they could they could go out there and get them a corner, get him a Jace Horn or Greg Newsome or Caleb Farley out there on the first round. So we'll see. We'll see. They could give him, I'll possibly go and get a linebacker and get Michael Parson, which that'd be scary, with that, him going over there, being under Belichick and everything. So, Patriots has a really good option. I mean, where they're at number 15 on the pick, I mean, you addressed it. They need wide receivers. I mean, they could go get them Devontae Smith, Rashad Bateman. It just, they did get Nelson Aguilar. So, they got Kendrick Bourne, they got Jacoby Myers. I wasn't sold on Jacoby Myers. They talk really highly about him. I think, picking up Nelson Aguilar in the offseason is great. I mean, he did really well for the Raiders last year. Really surprised me. Him just blossoming and just was a scoring machine in the beginning of the season as well, and with DFS fantasy as well. So getting, again, Polk, you're right. They do need that. They do need that wide receiver help. I mean, they got the tight ends that they want. Might as well go get wide receivers they need.
Right, and that's the big thing. If they're going to be running 2 tight end sets and stuff, you need at least one guy on the outside that's really going to threaten and take the top off, or at least keep the defenses from stacking the box. And in my opinion, they don't have that right now. Jacoby Myers, nobody's scared of. You know, Aguilar, don't get me wrong, Aguilar's a great player. He definitely showed up last year for, to me, his first time in his career.
Got great, yeah, definitely. Because when he played with Philadelphia, he was nobody. I mean, he was, we'll throw it to him once in a while.
Exactly. And, you know, with that, let's keep in mind that, you know, Henry Ruggs, teams had to worry about Henry Ruggs. So they were playing a little back. They were, you know, when he played his games. Now, Aguilar did better when he wasn't playing, but at the same time, these teams are game planning for Ruggs. They're not game planning for Aguilar. With Aguilar being the guy in New England, they're going to be able to game plan. And I think if teams can game plan against Aguilar, they're going to be able to stop Aguilar. So,
absolutely. So let's go to the New York failing Jets over there. Geez, I'm telling you, these guys need everything. I think, in my opinion, they need everything, every help, defense, offense, everything. They let, and Polk and I have talked about this too. They did not give Sam Darnold a chance. They didn't help him build around him. Yes, I know a lot had to do with a certain coach that was over there. But I mean, they just kind of just written him off and give him to Carolina. And he got some draft picks for him. You know, we know it's going to happen. We know who's going to be the number 2 pick. It's either going to be Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. And if I was the Jets, I'd go with Zach Wilson. Think of, be a little bit more on their playing field over there. You're going to be behind the old man, Joe Flacco. We'll see what I don't know. I mean, I have nothing else to say about the Jets. I mean, in my opinion, I think they need help everywhere.
Listen, if anybody works for the Jets and they're listening right now, please don't pick Zach Wilson. I have faith and hope in Zach Wilson that he's going to actually be a good quarterback. Don't run him. Please. Don't run him. You've done it to too many quarterbacks. Stop. Please stop. Go get anything else. Draft anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can make anybody great. Sure, whatever. Just don't run Zach Wilson. Let's see what's a real team and really compete and give him a real chance.
Oh, man. Oh, that's not what Jets fans wanted to hear.
I'm sorry, Jets, but I've seen y'all do it too many times. And now y'all have Adam Gase and y'all are doing it with quarterbacks. Y'all did it with Revis. Revis had to go sell out and go to New England to get a ring because he was never going to get one with y'all. I'm sorry, Revis is one of the greatest players I've ever watched play the game of football. Unfortunately, he played for the New York Jets. I don't hate you guys. I don't hate you at all. I love you. But you kill players. And it's just been y'all's thing. So let's just draw the line in the sand and make a decision that we're not going to run Zach Wilson's career. We're going to let him be something and let him go to somewhere else.
Oh, man. Wow. So they got 2 number 1 picks. They got 2 number 1 picks in this draft here. Well, I mean, they could get, a quarterback on their second pick there.
I think Mac Jones really wants to play there. That's just what I've talked to the guy a few times on the phone, and he said, "Man, I want to be a Jet." So take him. He's right up y'all's alley.
So, like I said, Jets got two picks on the first round. They can go get them an outside corner over there. Go get them Jace Horn or Greg Newsome or Caleb Farley over there.
Let's not do any of
Oh man, how are they going to be a better team, bro? They got to do something.
Scott, here's the thing: they don't have to get one of these exceptional players and run their life. They can literally draft anybody, and it would still be an upgrade. So,
oh man, oh running back, boy, there's no option, of course, in the front in the first round for them.
leave ETN alone too.
I do what?
I just got to leave ETN alone too.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, man, I honestly, for y'all's sake, I want y'all to at least get a decent player. But man, Polk's right. I mean, until you guys start building a team a little bit more, that you gave up Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. You shouldn't give up on that kid. I mean, he got a great arm. When he played, he was great. And he gave y'all, a win. He gave y'all a win under a horrible coach. Now you got a new coach, and y'all are like, okay, let's just give him up. We're done. He's not the quarterback we thought we was going to be. Good luck to you guys. Let's go to the Miami Dolphins there. Let's address their needs over there. Polk, we talked about this yesterday as well. Look, man, their defense is great, but let's talk about their offense, man. Their offensive line. Man, Miami, I think they're a step away also to get into the playoffs a little bit. Offensive line, man, got to get a tackle. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that they do need O-line help. They definitely don't need corners. Their corners played great last season. I'm a Miami fan, guys. But I've been saying this for 2 years now. I didn't want Tua. I don't want Tua. I think that Tua is not the guy. Can we send him to the Jets and get their number one pick and get Zach Wilson? I'd like to dream. But yeah, Miami's gonna roll with Tua until they figure out that he's not the answer, which will be sooner rather than later.
Polk, that might not be a bad option for them because they could get some draft picks from Miami. I mean, they got draft picks until next year. I mean, they've got 2 number 1 draft picks or 2 first round picks, 2 in the second round. I mean, they can go forever.
The only thing with that, Scott, is it makes too much sense. So why would a team do that?
Yeah, well, if I owned the Jets, I would have done something like that. But
right,
we'll go from there
because you need too many pieces. And if you did something like that, you get your quarterback, or you get a quarterback, and then you would get pieces to put around and put in that team instead of having doing what you're doing and being able to get one player and run his career. So yeah, I'm at the top though.
Exactly. So I mean, like I said, the Miami's got the number 6 pick.
So they traded back.
I'm sorry. Yes, they traded back to number 11. No, that's not right. I forgot what they traded back.
I think they were third.
Right.
Third or fourth.
Correct. Would you be upset if Miami gets the Mr. Pitts?
Well, I don't know if Pitts will still be on that board at 6. But, we've thrown this name out a lot today. And one of the big things is Devontae Smith. He's been kind of projected around that spot. I think it would be a great addition for Miami. But they need a few pieces. ETN, I think would be a great help. They need help in the running back room. They need help in the quarterback room. They need help at receivers. So they definitely need to go offense. Now, I don't know what kind of offense they're going to try to run. I think it's going to be a lot of play action. Hopefully they play on Tua's strengths. And that's kind of, I think with a little bit of scramble that he has, the play action offense would help. And with that, you need to go running back. But if they think that he can be that pocket passer, then they definitely need to go get Smith and give him those dynamic pieces. Give Devontae Parker a little help. He's been a player that's been up and down and looks spectacular some games and then just doesn't exist others. But I think with a little bit of help, he can make that step up, hopefully. So.
Okay, so you touched on the wide receivers a little bit there. Yes, again, Miami needs offensive help. They need a guard. They need a tackle. They found their center, in an off season there. Matt Skura, they got him for 1 year, which really they really needed a good center, and Matt Skura is a good one there. So with an addition with Will Fuller, you got Devontae Parker, Preston Williams. Preston Williams is, looking. I thought he was going to be great, but he keeps getting hurt there. How would you feel about Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, or Devontae Smith over there?
Yeah, and any of those guys could be great. It'd be a great addition. I forgot they signed Will Fuller, but Will Fuller, he's got to play 16 games for me to, consider him a real viable threat. He hadn't been able to do that. I think he faces a few game suspension coming into this year, if I remember correctly. So, and I don't know. Hopefully, he can get that connection with Tua out the gate. But it's going to be hard with missing the first couple of games. So yeah, Preston Williams as an undrafted guy that they signed.
Preston Williams, Polk. What do you think about him?
I think Preston Williams fits into that category, kind of like Philip Lindsay. An undrafted guy that played way above their talent level. Unfortunately, the problem with that is those hometown teams tend to not pay them. Philip Lindsay had to leave to go get a little bit of money. I think Preston Williams was, key to break out, but injury set him back. And I worry that, the team's not going to value him as much, especially if they go get a receiver. He's going to be kind of put on that back burner and just never be able to, shine as bright as he could have. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Polk. I mean, it's sad with his injuries over there. I thought he was going to be a great wide receiver. He's a big, tall guy, runs routes really well. And he just got, the injuries hurt him. I'm afraid they're, like you said, if they go get him a wide receiver in a draft that is really good, he's going to be put in the back burner. And I would hate to see that for him, but that's football. That's the way it is. And you got to move on from that. So that wraps up our NFC East and AFC East. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about the NFC North and South, and then on Tuesday we're going to talk about the NFC AFC South and NFC South, and then Wednesday we'll talk about the NFC West and AFC West, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we also are going to be live with the draft and talk about each team, picking who they're picking, and if it was a wise decision on their part. And then we'll have a recap on Sunday on all of the, we're going to grade each team and see how they do and go from there. we also want to thank our fans for listening in. From the United States, from all over the world, keep listening in. We're going to give you a great advice. We're going to go more in detail, like we always do. Try to make your fantasy league better, and your dynasty leagues as well better this year. There's a lot of guys are very concerned. And Polk, we can touch about this subject real quick on the Dynasty League. What do you want to talk about that real quick before we get off the air?
Guys, just with the Dynasty, I don't. If you're doing a Dynasty startup, great. Just make sure you have committed guys. Usually, I'm big on having a high pay and a high payout. But with Dynasty, you want these guys in there every year, so make it affordable for these guys, but make it enough to keep it interesting and feel like, the investment is worth it. With that being said, with the Dynasty, this draft is really important. I see a lot of Dynasty trades right now, people trying to move around players to try to get draft picks, and then also to unload some of these draft picks to hit. And I think, if you can, because just like anybody, you're taking a chance on some of these rookies. So if you can unload one of these second rounds or third rounds and pick up some of these guys that could be great, then go ahead and do it. Like, if just vice versa, if you're sitting on Todd Gurley and you can get something out of him, get something out of him. There's still hope that he could sign with a team, that he could continue his NFL career. So if you can unload him and get anything, then go ahead and do that, because I think his career is pretty much done. So that I just pay attention to all the transactions, and then leading up to draft day, you really, really need to hit home on some of these players. So I would definitely be looking at teams' needs right now. So
yeah, absolutely, and that's something else we're going to talk about as well. We're going to talk about who was your number one guy that you were going to pick on your fantasy league that used to be the number one, that maybe not be your number one guy anymore. We're going to discuss about that as well, and talk about who could be the new number one guy. And then that's something it's going to be pretty interesting, and it's going to be like, whoa, really? You guys think that he's not going to be the number one guy anymore? Well, we'll talk about that, and it'll make you think. I promise you.
I'd like to thank Scott for having me on and valuing my opinion. And then I'd also like to thank Cameron for giving me this opportunity to be able to talk on his show. With that being said, guys, good luck. Hope you have a good 2021 season.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you again for everything, and thank you again to our fans. Thank you for our troops who give us a chance to do our podcast show, and hopefully you guys are listening as well, so you can do your fantasy leagues, and we can help you out each and every week as well. To our fans overseas, keep listening. If you need help, go to Twitter and get, it's Polk. He'll tweet you if you have any questions or anything like that. Guys, thank you for everything. We appreciate it. We'll come back to you tomorrow right here on the Cameron Sabah Show. We're going